Hello friends, welcome back in the journey of neuroanatomy and neurophysiology. In this particular chapter, we already studied about the overview of nervous systems along with the fundamental and structural unit of nervous system, that's called the neurons. Okay, now today we will discuss about the other cells in the nervous system, that's called the neuroglial cells. Okay, as you know that nervous system works in the help of mainly the neurons, but apart from the neurons there are other cells which help the neurons to make them nervous system functions in a synchronized fashion, or we can say in a proper manner. Okay, so today our topic is neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cell. Neuroglial cells is also called supporting cells. Neuroglial cells is also called supporting cells as they are involved in the supporting of the neurons. So they are known as supporting cells. Supporting cells. Since these neuroglial cells, they are not electrically excitable cells. Okay, when we stimulate the neurons, okay, they will fire, they will show the phenomenon of electrical response, electrical generations. The electricity is generated in the neurons, but in the case of neuroglial cells they are unexcitable cells. That's the one fundamental difference between the neurons and neuroglial cells. It's a unexcitable cell. Clear? Now, apart from providing the support or unexcitability, the neuroglial cells also involves in the providing the nutritions to the neurons. So they are also known as the nutritive cell. Nutritive cell. Clear? Now, there on another names also associated with these neuroglial cells. The neuroglial cells is simply also called the glial cell. Okay, they are also known as the glial cells. Glial cells. Now, maybe this questions arises in your mind, why we are studying the neuroglial cells. See, apart from these all things supporting the cells, non-excitable nutritive cells or also known as glial cells, these cells basically perform so many functions, but myelinations is one of the functions, okay, which helps the neurons to make their electrical propagations accurately, correctly. Clear? It's involved in the myelination process. The neuroglial cells, if one word anyone asks what is the function of neuroglial cells, then we must say the neuroglial cells help in the myelination, or we can say by the help of neuroglial cells myelination is occurring. Myelination. See, you know there is one typical neuron, okay, and these are the axons of the neuron. And they have the one terminal end. See, these axons, the long fiber-like extension of the neurons, is covered by one lipoproteins layer, and this layer is called, very good, this layer is called the myelin sheath. It's called the myelin sheath. The clinical importance related with this myelin sheath is they provide first the insulation or make the electrical conduction faster electrical conduction. Okay, first one is it's a provide the insulation to the axons of the neuron. Second thing is make the faster conduction, it's make the faster conductions. Now there are divisions in the neuroglial cells. There are divisions in the neuroglial cells. As you know that the nervous system is classified into the two groups called the central nervous systems and called the peripheral nervous system. See, so in the central nervous system, one category of neuroglial cells is found, and in the case of peripheral nervous system, another category of neuroglial cells is found. Okay, the neuroglial cells is discovered in 1969 by the Rudolf Virchow. Okay, it's a historical aspect related to the neuroglial cells. The another point about the neuroglial cells is that they make the major portion of the central nervous system. They make the major portion of the central nervous system, or we can say the entire nervous system. Clear? The another point related with these neuroglial cells is they are very much fragile, or we can say the cancers easily get appeared in these neuroglial cells. Probably you heard about the schwannoma. Schwannoma is basically the cancer of the Schwann cell. Cancer of the Schwann cells. There are other neurodegenerative disorders in which the myelination of a neurons is affected. There are lesions development in the myelinations. Example, multiple sclerosis. Then there are another diseases called the Charcot-Marie syndromes. In these Charcot-Marie syndromes, the degeneration of the myelin sheaths is happening. Apart from these diseases, there are another diseases called the GBBS, Guillain-Barré syndromes. This all disease is associated with the neuroglial cells deformities or dysfunction, impairment in the neuroglial cells. So the neuroglial cells is classified into the two types. Some of the types of neuroglial cells they present in the central nervous system, whereas some of the neuroglial cells they are present in the peripheral nervous system. In the case of nervous system, the first cell which is present, the types of neuroglial cells is called oligodendrocyte. Oligodendrocyte. You know that, like, the interesting part is this about the neuroglial cells is in the Einstein brain there is one part called the gyrus. Okay, in this gyrus area, which is the gyrus area is mainly concerned with the mathematicals and logics. Okay, mathematicals and logics, they are driven by those angular gyrus area. So when the brain of Einstein is analyzed, it was found that the amount of neuroglial cells is higher present in the angular gyrus area. It means it shows this research shows that if we particularly exercise a specific part of our brain by some specific activity, the number of neuroglial cells will increase. Now the first type is oligodendrocyte. As you know, the oligodendrocytes involved in the myelination of the central nervous system. They perform the myelination on the central nervous system axons, the neurons of the central nervous system. The another cell present in the central nervous system is called, the another cell is called epididymal cell. Epididymal cell. Now, the function of epididymal cells is basically the production of CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. These epididymal cells will line on the ventricles of the brain, and there is ion channels present in these epididymal cells. By the help of those ion channels, the water, the electrolytes will be accumulated inside and CSF formations will occur. So that's the clinical significance related with the epididymal cells. Okay, now Apart from the epididymal cells, we have another cells called the astrocyte. As the name suggests, it's a star-like cell. Astrocyte. It's the star-shaped cell. It's a star-shaped cells. Okay. It is present in the central nervous system, or it is one of the most abundant among all these neuroglial cells. The astrocyte is the most abundant neuroglial cells present in the central nervous system. This is a two types. The first type is called the fibrous astrocyte, and second one is called the cytoplasmic astrocytes. Clear? Now, the cancer of the astrocyte is called astrocytoma. Now, there is one mole cell present in the central nervous system. That cell is called the microglial cells. Microglial cells. They are basically the phagocytotic cells, the immune cell of the neuroglial cell. It's a type of immune cell which helps the central nervous system to engulf the smallest bacteria or the debris. Okay. Now, in the case of peripheral nervous system, there are two types of cells present. The first one is called the Schwann cell. Another type is called satellite cell. Now, about the Schwann cell is performing the myelination. It's also performing the myelination it's performing myelination in the peripheral nerves. In the peripheral nerves, these Schwann cells performing the myelination. And the satellite cell is an immune cell. It's a kind of immune cells present in the peripheral nervous system. So, if I am concluding the classification of neuroglial cells are classified into the two broad categories. The first one is the type of neuroglial cells present in the central nervous system, and another type is present in the peripheral nervous system. In the central nervous system, first cell is present is the oligodendrocytes, second cell which is present is the microglial cells, then we have epididymal cells. Clear? Then we have the epididymal cells and the astrocytes. These are the central nervous system neuroglial cells. Clear? Now, about the peripheral nervous system, there are two types of cells is present. The one is called the Schwann cell, another one is called the satellite cells. In the recently in the nursing exam, the Rajiv Gandhi University nursing exam, the one question asks that write down about the neuroglial cells in a 10 marks. It means you have to write each and everything. Okay, you have to write each and everything. Now, we will take one cell and start discussing in detail. The first cell we will discuss in the central nervous system. In the central nervous system is the oligodendrocytes. See the slide, oligodendrocytes. Now, as you are seeing, these oligodendrocytes produce myelin and forming a coating on the central nervous system axons called myelin sheath. Okay. Second thing is the myelin sheath provides insulation to the axon that allow electrical signals to propagate more efficiently. Conditions related to oligodendrocytes include the multiple sclerosis and neuromyelitis and leukodystrophy. See, the multiple sclerosis is a neurodegenerative disorder. It's an autoimmune neurodegenerative disorder. In this disease, what happened? The body's own immune cells will directed against our own cells. The body immune cell directed against our own cells like these oligodendrocytes, and there is a lesion formation in the myelin covering of the central nervous system axons. Okay, and due to this disease, the autoimmune degenerative disease called the multiple sclerosis, they affect the various body parts. Okay, starting from the sensory nerves to the motor nerves, okay, digestive functions, even the reproductive functions. It can causes the sterility in the male. Okay, sterility in the male. Now the another disease which is caused by the affection of these oligodendrocytes, that's called the neuromyelitis optica. This neuromyelitis optica is also an autoimmune disorder. It's a rare autoimmune disorder, okay, which targets the optic nerve, As you know, the optic nerve is a first or second cranial nerve. It's a second cranial nerve. Optic nerve is a second cranial nerve, and the optic nerve is the one who is the which is the actually the elongation of our central nervous system part, diencephalon, elongation of the diencephalon. That's a part of our central nervous system, and in this disease the problem is associated with the our vision phenomenon, Now the another disease is we can say the genetic disorder, that's called the leukodystrophies. These are the group of rare genetic disorder characterized by the abnormal development of the destruction of myelin. Oligodendrocytes dysfunctions can contribute to these conditions. So in the context of these oligodendrocyte, we studied the first thing is they perform the myelination in the central nervous system. Second thing, the important things related with this oligodendrocyte is the three diseases. The first one is called multiple sclerosis, which is basically the autoimmune neurodegenerative disorder. Autoimmune neurodegenerative disorder. The second thing is also one of the autoimmune disorders called the neuritis optica, which affect the optic nerve, This is the second cranial nerve. And the third disease is leukodystrophy. Third disease is called the leukodystrophy. Okay, leukodystrophy. These are the three diseases related with these oligodendrocytes. Now we will see the another type of cells present in the nervous system, that's called the astrocytes. As the name suggests, astrocyte is star shaped cell. Okay, it's the star shaped cell. Now wait. The astrocyte, the star shaped cell, it helps in the formation of blood brain barrier. The astrocytes these are the second class of neuroglial cells present in the central nervous system. Okay, it helps in the formation of blood brain barrier. Blood brain barrier is one barrier present between the neurons and the external environment of the neurons. Okay, neurons love to have the constant environment. They don't need too much fluctuations. Don't need too much fluctuation of the electrolytes, of the toxins, some of the toxins. Okay, so there is one barrier present between the vascular supply of the nervous systems of the neurons and the neuronal environment. Okay, so in the formation, these astrocytes, they have the parts. Astrocytes is a star shaped cell. If I will draw it roughly, okay, it's a star shaped cells possessing the food projection. These food projections, they will line these blood brain barrier. blood-brain barrier and won't allow the other substance to enter into the neuronal environment. They don't allow any substance to enter inside the neuronal environment, so that neurons internal homeostatic environment will maintain. Clear? That's the one of the function of astrocytes. And the another point related with this astrocyte is that they are the most abundant neuroglial cells. They are the most abundant neuroglial cells. Okay, they are the most abundant neuroglial cells. Now coming to their types, there are two types. The first type is called the fibrous astrocyte, and the another class is called the cytoplasmic astrocyte. The first type of the astrocyte is called the fibrous astrocyte. Another class is called the cytoplasmic astrocytes. Clear? The first type is called the fibrous astrocyte and second type is called the cytoplasmic astrocyte. Fibrous astrocytes have the long, thin, less branched processes, and are more commonly found in the white matter. These are have their projection, the food projection is long and they are present in the white matters. Okay, white matters of the nervous system. The another is called the protoplasmic astrocyte. They have the short, thick, highly branched processes and typically found in the gray matter. The difference between these fibrous astrocyte and the cytoplasmic astrocyte is that their food processions, they are longer in the case of fibrous astrocytes. Write down this word. In the fibrous astrocytes, the food projection is long and branched, and it is mainly present in the white matter of the nervous system. Clear? In these cytoplasmic astrocytes, they have the short processes. Okay, and another thing is that they are present in the gray matter. Of the nervous system. Mainly, the fibrous astrocytes are the one who make the blood-brain barrier. Clear? Now, the cancer of this astrocyte is called astrocytoma. The cancer of the astrocyte is called astrocytoma, and mostly the benign cancer is found, means they will not we can say they spread. They are not spreadable type of cancer or a tumor. Astrocytoma, write down this word, astrocytoma. It is a cancer of the astrocyte. Another disease related with this astrocyte is called astrogliosis. In the astrogliosis, this is a reactive process where the astrocytes become hypertrophic in response to the injury or diseases. It's seen in the conditions like the neurodegenerative disorders and the brain injury. What happened when there is brain injury or some of the neurodegenerative disorders, the astrocytes becomes the hypertrophic. It's become the hypertrophic, or we can say the overfunctional. Their nature becomes the overfunctional. Clear? Till now we discussed two types of the cells. First is called the oligodendrocyte, second one is called the astrocyte. They are the neuroglial cells present in the central nervous system. Now, third cell we will discuss regards the central nervous system is called the epididymal cells. Clear? Now, these epididymal cells, as I told, they are involved in the formation of cerebral spinal fluid, CSF. They are involved in the formation of the CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. C. If I draw the diagram of central nervous system, see, there is presence of cerebellum, okay, and these are the pons, medulla, and this is called the spinal cord. See, there is presence of ventricles in the brain, ventricles, okay. These ventricles are the empty spaces. Two lateral ventricles, two lateral ventricles, it is present, and there is another ventricles called the third ventricles. Clear? Now there is one extension. There are four ventricles present in the central nervous system, two lateral, one third ventricles, then cerebral aqueduct, and the fourth ventricles. Clear? Now inside the ventricles there is a lining, by one cell, and this lining is done by these epididymal cells. Clear? This lining is done by it's a throughout whole system, throughout the whole ventricle system, and by the help of these epididymal cells, the CSF will produce. There is one mechanism, okay, there is one mechanism we will discuss in the detailed study of the CSF. We will cover this, but just now you understand these epididymal cells, they line the ventricles and the spinal cord of the central nervous system. Clear? So about the epididymal cell. Epididymal cells is perform the lining in the ventricles and spinal cord. Clear? Now, and by the lining they will produce the CSF formation. Clear? These are the two functions related with the epididymal cells. Now, after discussing the epididymal cells, we will discuss the microglial cells, which is the another class of neuroglial cells present in the central nervous system. These microglial cells, they are basically performing the immune function in the central nervous system. The microglial cells, they perform the immune function. They are the immune cell of the central nervous system. Immune function. Clear? And the functions done by these microglial cells is the three types. First one is called the phagocytosis, another one is called immune surveillance and inflammatory response. They will generate the three functions. The first one is phagocytosis. Phagocytosis means engulfing the cellular debris or bacteria, okay, and immune surveillance, they involved also in the immune surveillance and the inflammatory response. During the inflammatory response, their number goes high. This is all about the four types of the cell present in the central nervous system. Now we will discuss the two cells which is present in the peripheral nervous system. The first one is called the Schwann cell. Now the Schwann cell is basically present in the peripheral nervous system. It is present in the peripheral nervous system. Schwann cell. It is present in the peripheral nervous system, or it will myelinate the peripheral neurons. Okay, it's also involved in the myelination process. Myelination process in the peripheral nerves. Now, the another point related with these Schwann cell is they perform the phagocytosis. Phagocytosis. First one is myelination, second one is the phagocytosis. These are the two functions done by the Schwann cell. These are the two functions done by the Schwann cells. Now, I already told the schwannoma. Schwannoma is a cancer of Schwann cell. Noma word always denotes the tumor or the cancerous growth, the cancerous cells formation. Okay, schwannoma is one of the tumors originated in the Schwann cell. The another disease related with the Schwann cell is Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. In the starting of the lecture, I was told that the Charcot-Marie disease is the one disease which causes the peripheral neuropathies. Peripheral neuropathies. There is a loss of sensation in the muscles and the touch sensations. Touch sensations and loss of muscle tone is the two clinical pictures related with the Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. In this, the Schwann cell myelination will affect it. Schwann cell myelination will affect it in the Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. Write down this word, Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. Then we have Guillain-Barré syndromes. Guillain-Barré syndromes. These Guillain-Barré syndromes is involved in the immune system attacking the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nerves is attacked by the immune cells. Peripheral nerve is attacked by the immune cells, and the Schwann cells and the myelin sheath are affected, leading to the muscle weakness and paralysis. Muscle weakness and the paralysis. These are the three diseases related with the peripheral nerves. The first is schwannoma, second is called the Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, and the third one is called the Guillain-Barré syndromes. Guillain-Barré syndromes. So for concluding today's class, we discussed about the neuroglial cells. These neuroglial cells are the supporting cells present in the nervous system. Okay, their number and the neuron number is approx cell. The differentiations is done on the basis of that neuroglial cells are not excitable cells. It's the non-excitable, non-neuronal cell basically, and the neurons are the excitable cells. The another things we understood about these neuroglial cells is that their number may go higher. Okay, then we classified these neuroglial cells into the two categories. The one category which is present in the central nervous system, and another category which is present in the peripheral nervous system. The category which is present in the central nervous systems, they are oligodendrocyte, epididymal cells, microglial cells, and another cells called the the astrocytes. Okay, the astrocytes is present in the central nervous system. Now, in the peripheral nervous system, two types of cell is present. The one is called the Schwann cell, and another one is called the satellite cells. Now, then we understood some of the diseases related with these neuroglial cells. Mainly, just remember about the neuroglial cells is that they perform the protection and the nutrition to the whole entire nervous system. So, thank you with having me. Bye. Have a nice day.